Years, and about 1,000 feet now. That flag is actually 2,000 square foot thick. Now, I'm only going to show the outright professionalism of that man being able to fly such a large flag under canopy. In fact, the flag is so large and heavy, it requires a tandem parachute to be able to fly it safely. As he progresses towards the making the turn, he gives everyone a big wave back, ladies and gentlemen. He's just a few under feet and can clearly see. Now he's going to make his final turn into it. Or in fact detaching from that flag, ladies and gentlemen, he's going to have to cut away the very last safe moment to ensure safety of that policy as he makes his way to the wall.
What you have to remember up there is the wind is much stronger than it is down here, so there's an awful lot of drift. And I think you'll agree, Richard doing his best there to get a slightly lopsided smiley face. Holding it up there, looking at the airspeed, this time just pushing it over. And controlled roll rather than spinning the aircraft out this time.
That's the one giving you a demonstration of outstanding pairs formation work, and something that takes literally years of background flying work, and then of course many weeks of formation practicing before you get to this standard as well. One of the most successful home-built aircraft, as I mentioned, by a seriously long way. The RB4 now is celebrating its 40th year in aviation, but well over 10,000. A whole range of band series of aircraft in 9 different variants have been built.
So we can see the Tucano there, the larger dark aircraft, is a turboprop aeroplane, and you've got white blades on the left and right of his wings. So there's a full ship of mainly a single engine aeroplanes, and I don't know the makeup of the aircraft will be, but I'm going to leave one directly off the left-hand wing of the Tucano, and later on the outside, and plane 3 and 4 on the right-hand side of the wing. So opposition pushovers and mirrored stall service. Now to get ready for this, the team are now coming directly towards us and they're about to brake. This is the crossfire brake. James the Nutter, barrel rolling around everywhere. So there we go, cross formation is a reverse pyramid. Also have a door up for another speed event. This is the tank event. So, as they go from the tango left, James is just rolling it. And a really good opportunity for us to be able to see the ability they have of flying formation. That was very well flown. So from line of rest now into line stern, this is the snake. So they're going to follow each other, up and down, and essentially do a big loop down the ground line. And they're calling smoke on. And Andy Anderson, the co-founding member of the team.
The Tucano aircraft that you see displaying in front of you today is the stepping stone for flying a military fast jet. So students graduating from this aircraft will go on to fly the new Hawk T2 that is based at RAF Valley in North Wales. However, today is about the Tucano, and at the end of its service it has served 30 years with the #1 flying training school, which is the oldest military flying school in the world. As the Tucano finishes its final year of service, the Texan T1 aircraft is working up to replace the Tucano.
Helicopters originally developed out of the Sikorsky S-300, then became owned by Hughes Helicopters, nominated as the Hughes 300. Later development of the 269, and then manufactured by Schweitzer Aircraft. Been in production for almost 50 years. It's got a single 3-bladed main rotor, and you can see he's still got a few fireworks left from last night as well. Last night we saw this in the dark with his neon lights on the side and around 2,000 different detonations of fireworks on board, and just showing it's looking fantastic against the sky there today.
A big wave as they come past for the first of the memorial passes. Beautiful engines. Today we have a Hurricane with a Merlin engine fitted. We have a Mark 19 Spitfire with the Griffin power plant, and then we have the 2 Pratt & Whitneys that are in the Dakota. Sound of those 2 Pratt & Whitney engines of our Dakota today. We see Mark coming out of the Horseshoe Pass. He's going to be banking her up. Now the gorgeous D-Day stripes that you see painted across her wings today. See the Dakota come out of the Orbit 360. We'll get ready for the dirty pass. This is where Faz will initiate the undercarriage down operation. There we see the Dakota coming through for that lovely pass. If you bring your eyes to the right hand side, we're going to see the fighters coming through for the last of the fighter passes. Sound of the Griffin and Merlin engines. The Royal Air Force Battle of Britain Memorial Flight Display for 2019. Coming into the hover now, you'll see them do a few neat routines as they pirouette towards each other. Flying the Shark over on the right-hand side is a chap I know well. Yeah, that's Jim Richards.
Jim was an officer in the Royal Artillery before he transferred to the Army Air Corps to become an Army helicopter pilot. Jim has more than 1,200 hours flying the Gazelle all around the world, including Germany and Canada, Kenya and Belize. Jim also spent a session displaying the Gazelle as part of the Army Air Corps' Blue Eagles display team, which was definitely the most exhilarating thing that he's ever done in his flying career. And Jim left the Army back in 2001 to follow a career outside aviation, but likes to spend as much time as possible with the Gazelle squadron to ensure that this wonderful aircraft remains in the public eye.
Yeah, he's a good lad. I know him, I've known him a very long time, and a great deal of fun. He's flying Gordon. Gordon was built in 1976, built by Westland Helicopters at their factory in Yeovil. With a Rolls-Royce Neen engine, very similar to the Adversary, which was in Korea at the time, and indeed across the border from Norway, the MiG-15. And that's because the Russians bought 40 of these engines, and instead of legally acquiring the rights to license produce them, they reverse engineered. The original design of this actually had a straight wing, but after researching the data from the German swept wing designers, alongside the others, not just jets, but many other. Please welcome from the right-hand side, the Strike Master pair. Coming in there with advanced rocket attack, and we're followed with a couple of 500-pound bombs. Of these aircraft were built. The armoured cockpit was relatively roomy and comfortable. The bubble canopy introduced on the aircraft was restored to full operational service in Texas in 1952. And it was assigned to the Military Assistance Program in that year. Formed part of a group of P-47s which found their way to the Peruvian Air Force and gave good service right up until 1967, initially as a frontline fighter and then as a fighter trainer. Type in display.
Oh yeah, like his
demonstrated. Navy, the Japanese Air Self-Defense Force and the German Air Force as well. Keeping the service around the world and not being retired until the Bolivian Air Force. Several variants of this aircraft produced, performing the roles of all-weather fighter, interceptor, ground attack and photo reconnaissance.